Okay, this is going to be my January wrap up. I read 14 books this month, so let's just get into them. The first book that I read this month was The Good Fight by Jana Kramer and her husband. I don't remember his name, but Jana Kramer is someone who was on One Tree Hill, and because she was on One Tree Hill, I follow her on Instagram. She's also a country singer. One day, I was watching her Instagram stories, and it was like a Q&A, and she kept, people kept referencing her affairs. And apparently her and her husband have a podcast where they talk about this, but they also have this book that I decided to read because I wanted the tea. And the tea is that her husband has a sex addiction and cheated on her multiple times, and they decided to stay together, and he went to rehab, and this is just about their marriage. It was kind of self-helpy. I did not get actually a lot of tea from this, which was kind of disappointing. I also decided while reading this book that I'm not going to rate nonfiction anymore. So I did not rate this book. It was like a pleasant listening experience. I listened to it on audio and I cleaned my house. I listened to it in one big chunk. But I don't have thoughts about this. I'm not married. I don't know why I read this. But I did, and it was the first book that I finished in 2021, so I don't know what that says. And the next book that I finished was We Ride Upon Styx, which is a kind of speculative fiction about a field hockey team not in Salem, but in a neighboring town, and it's basically they're kind of witches. It's told in a really creative narrative style. The POV is crazy, and you're kind of following all of the members of the team. I really liked this. It was kind of what I wanted when I was reading that other field hockey book that I read a couple months ago. Can't remember the name of it now, but because you're following so many people and the way that it's told, they kind of get lost. So I ended up just giving this 3 stars, but it was pretty good. And then the next book that I finished was The Wicker King by Kay Ingram, and this book was so good. It was, the way that Ingram writes is so captivating, it's addictive. I didn't want to stop. This book is about, I can't remember the characters' names. I will figure it out. This book is about August and Jack is not mentally stable, and as his mental stability decreases, the the pages in the book get darker until they're black, but Jack is seeing things in him, and August is trying to help him, and so it's about that and their relationship, and it was just really good. Her writing is incredible. She's gonna be an automatic read for me now, and I just loved these characters. I don't know. It was so good. I rated it 5 stars. It was very good. And then the next book that I read this month was European Travel for the Monstrous Gentlewoman, which is the second book in the Athena Club series, which I read the first one last month, I think. And it's about the daughters of multiple scientists that experimented on their daughters and stuff. So it's got Dr. Jekyll / Hyde's daughter has Justine Frankenstein. It has Dr. Moreau's daughter, like, or creation. And this one features vampires. So it was fantastic. The story is like told like as they're writing it, and so they're like little conversation like interjections in it. And I really enjoyed that part of it. Like, I love the way that this story is told. And it was just action packed. I really like grew to love these characters over this book. Like, I read the first one and I was like, that's pretty good, I'll continue with the series. But this one was great. I really fell in love, and I can't wait to get to the next book. Yeah, I gave it 5 stars. And then the next book I read was Real Life. This book takes place, it's like just one weekend, and it follows a Black gay man his name is Wallace, and he is getting his biochem like graduate degree, and he like, it's just over this one weekend, and it's following him and his interactions with his friends. And it was really captivating, like seeing the inner workings of like his brain and the way that he navigated these relationships with his friends and with like his lab partners. And it was just like a little glimpse into his life, like just a little window into his world for this one weekend. And it was really enjoyable, and I really enjoyed it. That was basically the same thing I just said, but I gave it 4 stars. And then the next book that I read was The House in the Cerulean Sea. Everyone on BookTube has been raving about this book, so I finally picked it up, and it did not disappoint. This follows Linus, who works for this agency that goes to orphanages, is that the right word, for magical kids, and like evaluates and makes sure that they're keeping their charges like safe, and that those charges are not like a danger to the world. And he goes to this like really special one, and it's like a found family, and also there's a little bit of romance, and it was just so cute and wholesome and felt like a warm hug. And I gave it 4 stars. Okay, the next book that I finished this month was Bunny, which is this really weird book about this English creative writing grad student. And it's kind of culty, and I did not like it. Probably the last half of it, I just wanted to finish it. Like, I didn't want to DNF it because I wanted to know what happened. Like, I had a desire to know what happened, but I did not like it. And maybe I should have DNF'd, but it was just not for me. This is not the kind of story that I enjoy reading, I guess. It's weird because it's really, like, this book was really similar to Catherine House, and I loved Catherine House, but I did not like Bunny at all. And so I ended up giving it 2 stars. Yeah, I could see the appeal of this, but I just didn't find it. I probably missed a bunch, like stuff probably didn't make as much sense to me because I was reading it so fast trying to get through it. Yeah. The next book that I read this month was The Princess Trap, and this is a romance by the same author who wrote Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and like the Brown Sisters trilogy. I've only read the first book in that trilogy, but I did love it. And it follows a prince of this European country, and he, I don't know, there's like fake dating in it, and it was really cute and really fun. And something that Talia Hibbert does is she really develops her characters as well as developing the romance, and so you get like backstory from the characters, and I wish we kind of had gotten a little more of that, but I loved what we got, and so I gave this 4 stars. I can't wait to read more of her books because they're very good. Okay, the next book that I finished this month, I talked about a lot in my recent reading vlog, so go watch that. But that is Ship of Magic, which is a fantasy novel. It's the first book in the second trilogy in the realm of the Elderling series. And I read the Farseer trilogy last year, and so I was very excited to get into this, and it did not disappoint. This follows the life of the Bingtown traders. It's specifically a certain trader family, the Vestrits, who own a live ship, which is a ship that is made of wizard wood, and it like comes alive and it holds memories. And the Vestrits have one of these ships, and like, I don't know, it's told with from multiple perspectives, which is really fun and unique. And I don't know, Robin Hobb, like, to me, is the epitome of an incredible fantasy writer. Like, her character work is just incredible. Like, I don't read books often that make me feel so much about the characters. And so I obviously ended up giving this 5 stars. If you want to hear more about it, please go watch that other video. The next book that I read is Between the World and Me. This is a book that the author is like writing a letter to his son. They're Black, and he's just talking about like the Black existence in America, and like giving advice and talking about his own experiences. And it was really powerful. I listened to this one on audio, but I like want to pick it up on like physically as well. I think it might be like more impactful, or like a different kind of impactful reading it physically. And so yeah, I really enjoyed this, and it was really like eye-opening for me. I'm always trying to like educate myself, and so this was a really good way to do that. Coates is a fantastic writer. Like, his writing style is really, really good. But yeah, I didn't rate this one because it's nonfiction, and I'm not reading nonfiction anymore. So the next book that I finished this month was This Close to Okay, which I also read in that reading vlog. And this is a contemporary fiction novel about a therapist who sees this guy about to jump off a bridge, and saves him, and like then spends the weekend with him. And there's like a little romance, but he's so mysterious, like you can tell that he's not really telling her everything about him. And so it's kind of reads like a thriller as well. I liked this, I really did, but I felt like it wasn't sure what it wanted to be. So I ended up giving it 3 stars. I really did enjoy it though. I would recommend it, definitely. And then the next book that I finished was, spoiler alert, this is a romance about a guy and a girl who write fan fiction about this TV show that's also been made, like, that was a book, and then it's like based on Greek mythology, maybe? I'm not entirely certain. But they write fan fiction, and you realize pretty quickly that the guy is actually a star on the TV show. And this stuff happens on Twitter, and they end up meeting, and the central conflict of it is that he doesn't tell, and they like start dating, and they like fall in love or whatever, but he doesn't tell her that he is actually the guy that she's been communicating with for like 3 years online. And I really enjoyed this, except I hated that like central conflict. Like, I felt the book could have been much better and could have spent more time developing the characters' backstories if he had just like told her, and there could have been other conflict. I mean, it's a celeb dating a normal person. Like, there could have been other conflict that wasn't as frustrating as the conflict in this book. So I ended up giving it 3 stars. And then the next book that I read this month was The Prophets. And this is, I'm just going to read the description because it's really kind of hard to describe. It's a book about Isaiah and Samuel, who are slaves on a plantation in the South, and they are in love, and all is fine and well until another slave starts preaching about God and saying that what they are is a sin. It's really captivating, a great story to tell. The writing style was phenomenal, and the love is so pure the entire way through. It's you can see the contrast of these two men's love while also seeing the horrors of slavery, and it does a really good job exploring both of those things. So I gave this 5 stars. I thought the writing was beautiful, and I really grew to love the characters in it. So that was very good. And then the last book that I read this month was The Water Dancer. And this is another book about slavery, but whereas The Prophets was pretty character driven, there's plot, but it's mostly I felt it was character driven. This book is more plot driven, it's very plot heavy. It's about Hiram, who is a slave, and he remembers everything, but he doesn't remember his mother at all. And it's about his father is actually the owner of this plantation that Hiram lives on, and it opens up with him drowning and telling his story, and it's told in 3 parts. So the first part is basically about his first life, or his early life leading up to his drowning, and then the next 2 parts are about what happens after he is alive, and it's also about the Underground Railroad and that dynamic, and you meet a bunch of different characters along the way, and it's action, I don't know, I guess it is action packed. So much happens in this book, but it was really captivating. And like I said earlier when I was talking about Between the World and Me, Coates' writing is fantastic. I really loved this book, and I gave it 5 stars. So that's everything that I read this month. It was kind of a lot, but it was a pretty good reading month. I can't believe I read 14 books. That's crazy. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.